Finals tonight, and the superstar Kevin Durant will not play. That's not a surprise. The question is, when will we see him again? He's got the strained right calf. Yesterday, Steve Kerr talking about this, and it doesn't sound to me like we should expect to see KD anytime soon. Give a listen.
Everyone needs to slow down a little bit on the Kevin stuff. He hasn't even stepped on the floor yet. We've tried to remain somewhat vague because the injury is really sort of open-ended in terms of how long he's going to need to recover. But I think in doing so, maybe people have gotten the idea that he's going to come back and be Willis Reed or something. He hasn't even stepped on the floor yet. He still has pain, so there's some time ahead of him on the rehab process. So we'll have a more detailed update on Thursday.
Okay, so that obviously moves us well past game one, and who knows what territory we're getting into. Now, here's the good news. Golden State has won 27 of their last 28 games when Steph Curry plays and Kevin Durant does not. Vegas also loves them tonight. They're a 7.5-point favorite in game one at the Westgate Las Vegas Superbook. Now, before we have a conversation about this here, I want everyone to hear this because it's a conversation that CJ McCollum had with Kevin Durant all the way back in last July. McCollum, who's not only a terrific player, but is an aspiring sports broadcaster and is going to be a great one. He has sat in that chair many times. He had KD on his podcast, and I tell you what, it got a little contentious. Listen to this.
You know you guys aren't going to win a championship.
Bro, we have the team. We have capabilities. Anything is possible. We can win a championship, bro.
I mean, let's be honest.
Bro, we can win a championship. Anything is possible.
I just need I need more. I mean, I like y'all. I like y'all too. You're hard to stop. But, I mean, come on. I suggest you just keep playing, man, and don't worry about what goes on at the top of things.
We right there at the top of things. We was a third seed last year, bro. We was right there. We was just slightly below 1 and 2.
But how'd you play?
Some unfortunate situations happened in the first round.
How'd you play?
Some unfortunate circumstances.
Like an 8 seed.
May I speak for everyone when I say, oh, snap.
I never heard
that. What do we think of that?
Wow. I like it. I like it going into, KD might not play.
Wow.
I like that.
DJ.
I cannot believe that. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, I mean, it was friendly banter, and then it sounded like it got personal. But I tell you what, I believe Golden State is going to win this series. But without KD and those two guards get hot, anything can happen, Coach. You know that.
I guess there's a slight chance. I mean, when you're looking at those numbers are telling you something. And I love Portland, but
how about the talking there, though? I mean, a guy like Durant, I love it too.
I love it.
But do you think that KD now in any way regrets saying it directly to him as these teams prepare to square?
No. It's just like the comment he made in the Clippers series. I'm Kevin Durant. You know me, don't you? You know me. It's the same thing. And I love it from him because he's taken so much criticism, so much punishment, and for him to stick up for himself, and in this case, stick up for his team. Like, come on.
And here's what I like about the backcourt matchup here. You've got the backcourt in Portland. You got McCollum, who went to Lehigh. You have Lillard, who went to Weber State, against like NBA royalty, right? You got Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, both of whose dads played in the league forever and all of that. They're the Splash Brothers. These guys in Portland, I can see them being very motivated to prove something to the guys on the other side of the floor and to everybody about just how good their backcourt is.
Oh, they're definitely going to do that. And like I said, they're going to come out firing. I mean, these two guys are playing at an elite level right now in the playoffs. Dame Lillard, not so much in the last series in Denver, but CJ McCollum stepped his game up to a great level. So I'm just saying, if they're able to create offense off the dribble, then they have a chance, Coach.
Yeah, I agree. They're both dynamic backcourts, but the one thing where I give Golden State the edge is the playmaking of Draymond and Andre Iguodala. So when you trap those guys, the plays they make off of that and the scramble situations they put you in, they're going to end up with a high percentage shot. I'm not sure that Portland has those guys after there's the trap of the pick and roll.
How about going up against them? The whole world knows the Splash Brothers. As a guy who plays in the backcourt in the NBA, how good are those two guys in Portland?
They got a lot of my respect. Them two guys are very good. They can create off the dribble. Guys can make a lot of great plays, but like Tom said, they don't have guys like Draymond. They can play off the ball a little bit and run around. Them guys have to be on the ball and make plays for themselves or others. So it's going to be a great series.
Lillard did not have a particularly good series, as DJ just mentioned, in this past one against Denver. He was sensational against Oklahoma City before. We know about Steph's shooting range. Do you have to worry in the same way about Lillard? We've seen him pulling up and comfortably shooting from 30 feet plus. Do you worry about him shooting the same way you worry about Steph?
I wouldn't say so much a worry, but you got to know going in the back of your mind, going against them, that both of them guys can really pull from deep, so they have to change your style. You have to adjust playing defense.
As a coach, is that a good shot? When Damian Lillard is taking a 32-foot jump shot in rhythm, is that a good shot?
What Terry said is crucial. Your pickup point with both of those guys has to be far above the three. They're shooting almost a 4-point shot. It's 4 feet behind the line, and that makes that much different. And the thing about Damian is the way he played in Game 7, 3 for 17, but he played great, not shooting the ball great. His rebounding, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, he did a lot of other things to help them win.
Look, he's a guy who competed in the skills challenge, the three-point contest, and the dunk contest at All-Star Weekend once upon a time. So he can do absolutely everything. I think that matchup with the backcourt is the most interesting thing that we have in the Western Conference playoffs. Meanwhile, let's get up and go. Speaking of Western Conference playoffs, to hockey. The Blues evening up that Western Conference final series at a game apiece after a 4-2 road win at San Jose last night. They got a winner at the end late in the second period. Game 3 is tomorrow night back in St. Louis, so that series is all even at 1 game apiece. Meanwhile, to the National Football League, where Broncos quarterback Joe Flacco says it's not his job to mentor rookie Drew Lock, who Denver drafted in the second round last month. Dan Orlovsky, you have a problem with him saying that?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Flacco, you're a quarterback, and every kid gets taught when you play quarterback, it's to do anything for everybody. So you're going to mentor the tight ends, the running backs, the receivers, a backup quarterback. You never know who's going to be needed to help your team win games. At the end of the day, it's about winning games and getting to the playoffs for the Broncos. That is part of Joe Flacco's job now.
I agree. Flacco, and it's also, there was no reason for him to say it this way. He's getting criticized, and that was a self-inflicted wound. Back to the NBA. Sixers announced yesterday Brett Brown will be returning as their head coach next season. Tom Thibodeau, were you at all surprised by that?
Maybe a little bit because of what the owner had said earlier on, but Brad has done a terrific job there, and I'm glad they came out right away to put an end to all that speculation. I think it's a good move for the organization moving forward, and now they can concentrate on the draft and free agency.
It does feel to that point as though there's an advantage in seeming stable at the top of your organization right now as you try and convince players to go and stay and come to your team. Meanwhile, the opposite end of that, of course, is the Lakers, who announced the hiring of Frank Vogel as their next head coach on Monday. No terms were announced by the team, but sources have confirmed to our Adrian Wojnarowski that it's a 3-year deal with Jason Kidd on board in a prominent role as an assistant coach. So we have Damon Jones with us all morning long, and DJ, you know LeBron extraordinarily well. You know that situation well. You were an assistant under Ty Lue in Cleveland, and then we see that thing fall apart last week. So I'm just going to give you the floor as far as what you see going on in LA right now.
Well, I'm extremely disappointed, Greeny, because this situation was botched from the beginning. First of all, you talk about the optics of LeBron running the organization, and we don't want that. We don't want Cleveland Cavaliers all over again. But shouldn't the optics be about winning? And for a franchise that hadn't been to the playoffs in 6 years, you shouldn't worry about anything but winning. And here it is, a candidate that was there, been to 3 straight NBA finals, won a championship with your superstar player, and you come in and you give him a below market deal, a 3-year deal at $6 million. And it's been reported that you give Frank Vogel 3 years, $15 million. So right at $5 million a year. And I don't know what's going on in LA. I think Kirk Rambis, is what I'm hearing now, is making the decisions, and I think he made a bad one. Nothing against Frank Vogel. I think he's going to do a good job. But when you have a slam dunk pick right there in the palm of your hands, you have to take advantage of it. And I just don't understand where this process went wrong. And I'm really, really, really upset about it.
I think a lot of people feel as you do. You're also very close to LeBron James.
Yeah.
What do you know of? He's been somewhat quiet about all this as it's gone on. What do you know of his mindset right now?
Well, I know that he stood clear of the whole coaching situation. How he's feeling now, we don't know. But I tell you what, if the Lakers season goes the way that it did last year, we won't be talking about what Kirk Rambis did or Rob Pelinka or Jeannie Buss or Linda Rambis. We're going to be talking about LeBron James. And that's the unfair part about this situation, because I know that he wanted Ty Lue as his coach, and we didn't get it done.
Yes, I find the whole thing very confusing. You bring in a guy like LeBron at this stage of his career and his life, why you wouldn't give him what he thinks he needs to win a title doesn't make any sense to me either. All right, as we continue, it was not long ago that R.J. Barrett was seen as the top pick in this year's NBA draft. We will ask him where he hopes to land as he joins us live coming up in a matter of moments. And there's more football to get to today as well. Cam Newton had a milestone birthday this past weekend. We'll tell you why he is going to have to change his game, or we won't see him on the field a whole lot longer.